Right, so here we go. Round one, 10 past 10 tea time, which was actually delayed due to some thick fog. So it was pushed back by an hour and 45. But I wanted to play aggressive here, so I went with driver and hit it down the right. Fortunately, I was just right of the tree and had a shot here. So I had about 60 yards, but the ball was sitting down quite a lot, and I just really wanted to make sure I get it over this front bunker, which I did. It just came out pretty hot on me. But not a terrible spot, and this was quite a simple chip, just kind of across the green, down the hill a little bit, left to right. Quite a big break on it, and yeah, played this one nicely, just about 3 feet away from the hole. So yeah, left myself a little 3-footer up the hill, just inside left, and something just to really get a good stroke on to start the round with. Second hole, which again they pushed the tee up forward and left, so this was just a 4-iron trying to draw it around the trees a little bit. Hit a pretty good shot here. This left me 73 yards in the fairway to a back flag, which you cannot go long on. So just trying to play this like a 65-yard shot, trying to skip it up towards that flag. Played this one pretty nicely and left myself a good chance for birdie. So got around 12 feet here for birdie, uphill, a little bit right to left. A really good opportunity to open up the account for the day. And yeah, really conscious of just putting a good stroke on it, matching my line, and trying to see if we can get underway. Had the line, but just didn't quite give it enough speed. Okay, on to hole 3, which again was a forward tee, and just trying to hit another 4-iron down there to leave myself sort of around 120, 130 left in. Hit a really good shot here. So I had 114 to this kind of back flag here, and again you cannot go long of this pin, and this was just playing like a full sand wedge, and I knew that there was a little bit of draft against, which the ball kind of span up on me a little bit here, so it was on a good line, just came up a touch short. This left me around 30 feet for birdie, uphill, left to right, and quite a big break from the left. So again, really key trying to just get the speed here. And I thought I had this for a second. Just a fraction too firm. Just trying to tidy up, but actually this was also quite a slippery downhill right to lefter. After making decent pars on holes 4 and 5, onto the 6th hole here, and again slightly forward tee, so just trying to get the 4-iron down there, leave myself in a good position for a wedge into the green. This again was a pretty good shot. Got 127 here, again to a back flag just on top of the tier, and this was playing it back into the wind slightly, so trying just to hit a good committed wedge here, which was really good shot. It just drew a little bit because my ball was above my feet and just spun left off the tee. So an outside look at birdie here, just on the fringe from around 30 feet. Again, quite a slow putting back up the hill, so speed was key here, which I didn't quite give it enough. My putting's been feeling really solid the last few days, and this was a good 4-footer kind of just on the left edge. Again, just really conscious on trying to put a good stroke on it, which I managed to convert. 7th hole here, hardest tee shot I think on the course, just trying to hit a 5-wood up there. If I turn it over, great. And I did on this occasion, which was looking really good. But unfortunately it took quite a big bounce left, and it left myself under the trees here. So I had 197, and I was just trying to hit like a punchy hook 5-iron. And this was probably one of my best shots of the day. Managed to get it just short of the green and give myself quite a decent look at getting this up and down to save par. Just trying to hit a nice little stock 60 degree here, which again just released a little bit on me as these greens are really drying out. This left me another kind of testing par save, and from around 5 feet, just trying to play this just sort of on the right edge here, again with another committed stroke. and really nice to see that go in. So I managed to make birdie on the 8th to get to 1 under, and then par 9, 10, 11. On the 12th here, just trying to hit driver over the middle of these trees with a little fade, and I did really nicely. But again, get up there and it's in quite a thick lie on the right rough here, and got around 65 yards just trying to play something just to get it over these bunkers. But with the pin tucked behind the bunkers there and it being so firm, I didn't really have a chance of stopping this. So got another kind of 27 footer down the hill left to right. Again, really focusing on my speed. Another solid par, but this was kind of a little bit of a theme of the day where I was just kind of hitting it to 20, 30 feet a lot of the time and not giving myself good birdie chances. 13th hole then, par 5, just trying to get my drive down the right hand side to give myself a good shot at getting on the green in two. Thought I hit a pretty good drive here. But we get down there and we couldn't find my ball anywhere. So only 3 minutes to search for your ball, and I had to go back to the tee, and this is where my second ball ended up. Had to lay out here, and I got around 80 yards to the back pin, just trying to get a wedge on there and see if we can save a bogey. And apparently my ball pitched just past pin high and skipped up to this point here, which was pretty dead, as I just had to get it onto the green and it was so fast down there. An awkward lie with the rough cut against me, and yeah, really starting to kind of unravel here. So this was to save double bogey. And at this point, again, I was just kind of in damage limitation mode. It was a pretty good putt, but in the jaws. So I walked off with the 8 on the 13th hole and then parred 14 and 15. So we come to 16 here, just trying to hit 5 wood down there as the ditch runs out. And this was not a great swing where I've pushed it right. Got 207 here to a back pin and a flyer lie with a little bit of wind. Hit 7-iron here. Hit a really good shot, kind of just pin high left to give myself around 25 feet for the birdie. And again, hit a pretty decent putt, but just misjudged the line on that one. So I managed to make a really good birdie on 17, almost making an eagle, and got to 18th tee, just trying to hit the 4-iron down there again and hit another pretty good shot. Got around 135 here to the pin, and we were actually trying to rush back into the clubhouse because there was a thunderstorm that was building in. So we could hear the thunder and we wanted to finish before they paused play. Hit a pretty decent shot, but just pulled it a little bit, and now I've got around 18 feet across the slope down the hill, and I was feeling confident with this putt because I really kind of like these little putts across the slope, and I thought I had it, just needed an ounce more of speed. So that would be a 1 over round to open up. So that first round was, yeah, almost really good, finishing +1 in the end. And yeah, it was just where the 13th hole really cost me. I felt like for the majority of the round that, you know, I was playing really solid, didn't really do much wrong, and when I got slightly out of position, like on the 7th hole, I recovered well, got up and down, saved par to kind of keep the momentum going. And the 13th, to be honest, was just a real kind of bit of bad break. I didn't hit it that far right off the tee, and was literally in the same spot as my playing partners. We get down there, find the other 2 balls, and couldn't find mine. And as I said, like within 3 minutes, you don't have that long to look for it, and had to go back to the tee, and yeah, kind of compounded it, I suppose, a little bit to make an 8 there, or a bogey with my second ball. But I was pleased with how I kind of responded and didn't let that sort of really get to me on the finishing holes, and finished fairly strong just to post 1 over. So not horrendous to start with. It left me, I think, in around 78th position after day 1, and the cut was looking at around -1. potentially -2 marks. So yeah, had work to do for round 2. And going into round 2, had an afternoon tee time, and I was really conscious of, I wanted just to be a little bit sharper in my approach play and set myself up with better opportunities to do that. And I knew that I needed to get off to a fast start, and that's exactly what happened. I was 3 under through 6, absolutely flying, feeling really good, hit a couple of really nice approach shots in there close, and hold a couple of putts as well, and in a really strong position. We then sort of dropped a shot on the 9th hole, and not the end of the world, it can be done. It was playing quite tricky downwind with the pin at the top level again, and just slightly misjudged my approach shot there to make a bogey. So I was 2 under at the turn, and in a really decent position to push on and try and get inside that cut line, which in my mind I knew I needed to be around -2, -3. And so, but on the back nine at Manning's, there's good opportunities there. There's a couple of short par 4s, a couple of reachable par 5s if you get tee shots away. So you like to think that there's 4 or 5 good opportunities there. And again, I sort of played really solid up until, I'd say, the 13th hole again, really, where I hit a decent drive, but again down the right side and not really in a great position there to set up the birdie. And to a kind of a front flag, I was unable to get up and down because I had to lay up short, and hitting up that massive hill with a wedge shot in wasn't particularly great to get close to that pin. So a par there, and then it was just one of those rounds where I just kind of was forcing it perhaps a little bit too much, and get to the 14th hole, the par 3. It was a back left pin. We had 155, I think it was, to that pin, and the wind was sort of into off the left, and I tried to hit a little hole up 9-iron and just kind of overturned it a touch. It's gone long of a green, and I'm now faced with a really tricky chip from behind the 14th green where I've got no lie. It's kind of dry, muddy patch, and ended up walking off with the 5 there. So a double bogey, and that really kind of killed my momentum for the round. And at that point, I sort of knew then that it was really difficult to make the cut. I knew I needed to basically birdie 15, 16, eagle 17 and have any chance of making the cut, and gave it my best, but unfortunately it wasn't to be, and ended up shooting another +1 and to miss the cut by 5 in the end, where I think it was -3. So yeah, all in all, obviously it wasn't the result I wanted. I felt like I did a lot really well for large parts of the tournament, but in key moments, I think where there was just a little bit lack of competitive golf that I haven't played for a while, I think in key moments there I didn't quite execute the shots that I needed to, and ultimately that cost me. And obviously a couple of slight bad shots and bad breaks here and there, and I lost 5 shots in 2 holes essentially on the 13th and the 14th hole, and played the back 9 in the end for both days over par, which I never really do at Manning. So yeah, that was kind of frustrating in that sense, and yeah, disappointing I suppose to finish in that way and miss the cut. But as I said, all in all, haven't really played a whole lot of competitive golf, battling a couple of injuries, and it was just really good to get back out and play. So the work continues, trying to get healthy, practice, and then we get ready for the next one. So as always, thanks for your support, and see you all in the next one.